Hi there! My name is Brendan Peterson, and I'm the director of Darkslide. Today I would like to answer two common questions that we have been getting about Darkslide. I would also like to dive into a little bit about what the influences are behind making this movie and the artists that influence us in creating the structure of this film. The first most common question we've been getting is whether or not Darkslide is a horror movie. And that question is kind of a bit complicated because Darkslide does indeed have a lot of horror imagery, but it's not exactly the typical horror movie where there's a specific monster or a killer in a mask. Not that horror movies are limited to that, but that's maybe what people think of when they think of horror. So, in truth, this film is labeled more of a psychological thriller so that we can broaden the subject matter and get into more experimental storytelling structures without limiting ourselves to exactly being horror. Although I love horror movies, and if people want to associate us in that genre, I'm not too worried about it. But hopefully that clears up the question. So the answer is it's not exactly a horror movie. Another common question we've been getting is what exactly does the title Darkslide mean? Well, in Polaroid photography, there's a specific kind of little thing called a Darkslide. And when the photo pops out of the machine, you cover it with the Darkslide so that it doesn't get overexposed to the light and the colors end up more rich that way. Now, as far as filmmakers go, I think David Lynch and his experimental structures have really influenced me, as well as Harmony Korine. Although, other than structure and tone and atmosphere and soundscape and all that, I don't have exactly a ton in common with their subject matter. And that's where I actually, for the subject matter of Darkslide, actually it mostly comes not from films and movies, but actually more from literature. Author Joseph S. Pulver Sr. Has really influenced me with his storytelling and unique dark poetry, as I like to think of it. Like it's pretty much unlike anything I've ever encountered, and it's really influenced me the most. I go through these different anthologies and collections of his stories, and the ideas start forming because it would be hard to actually translate his poetry and his prose to actual film scenes without making them very dreamlike or sometimes just way too epic of a proportion for me to capture, like visually, without getting metaphoric. So I would have to say these three collections so far these are the ones that I've read so far. Sin and Ashes, Blood Will Have Its Season, and A Season in Carcosa. And they're all, these ones in particular are all having to do with the King in Yellow mythos created by Robert W. Chambers. Among many other things, he draws influence from many other sources, as do I. Joe here has really influenced me more than any other artist, but of course there's other artists like Stan Brakhage and Dario Argento, David Lynch, of course, like I mentioned, and pretty much just all filmmakers who really love what they do. Like, I actually really love all kinds of films, and we on the Darkslide team, we enjoy all sorts of films, and hopefully together we're going to be able to create something quite unique here. And thank you for your time in going over answering some of these questions, and hopefully this clears up some things in your mind about whether or not Darkslide is a horror movie, what Darkslide exactly means. It's kind of like you just gotta see the movie.